I am here. I'm a little early. Still sitting. How did I do that time? That's how I did it. So the week got away from me. Not that it matters, because, that's the way life goes sometimes. Okay, that goes there, that goes there. Oh, because the whole thing's... Okay, week got away from me, and I never got a chance to piece this one with the foxes, which is absolutely fine. So we're going to do that right now. This is going to be my patch that goes over top of all of this when it's all done. Like that. Because it doesn't have to be perfect. I might make it a little, I might actually make it smaller. I haven't decided yet. Anyway, I never got a chance to get back to anything from last week. So I've still got to finish, I've got to do the fox one, then trim it, then bind them. But then after that, and we made the executive decision. Hey, Cece, we made the executive decision to steal back the sampler that I had given to Bruno, because we're going into hot weather now. We're not going to need it. I'll make him something nice. He won't go without. The poor little baby will not suffer. So, yeah, I just gotta piece this one. I've just gotta piece this one. I've got to sew it together. Binding. I'm going to use a bit of a heavier binding today too, so I can go faster. If my binding is a little wider, I can go a little faster. So I'm doing that too. But yeah, I am just using the same red that I was already using. We don't care if it clashes. We're kind of hoping it does in a weird way. Oop, oop. 6 millimeters wide. The stitch is set at 2 millimeters. Anyway, if I get in here, it's always a bit of a weird thing. I would do really well with a desk that's a little rounded and have the machine right there. Yeah, I like this system a lot better. And as always, because things are intentionally not lining up, I put it back, right? Now I'm going to start with this one. Okay, I already know that these meet up, so I'm going to start with this one. Come on, where's my thing? My cords are kind of in the wrong spots today, but that's okay too. Okay. Now, I already know that this one is going to go right there, so I'm just going to keep going. Back it up because it's an intersection. So anyway, how you doing, Cece? I think I might be a little bit more distractible than usual today. I'm trying to get caught up. One thing led to another, and I never got back to doing any of this. So this one here, I've got that one to do to that one. I'm getting a little bit closer. Because this is already laid out over here. I'm just grabbing stuff. So these two here, I'm going to start. See where the stitching is? The stitching is here, right? I'm going to start just at the top of where the stitching goes and then down. And then I'll get my reinforcing stitch because you don't want to go crazy because then you got really, really thick spots of thread, but you want to reinforce your corners when and where you can. Wait a second now. No, I'll put that. I think for the one I can just keep going, but I did not double check before picking up, and I do not want to be messing around with that. Oh, I gotta go right to the end. I did not go right to the end. Okay. I'm not sure what oh, look at that. I got going in a hurry. So I'm not picking out stuff. I don't know that this is like donatable, but this is probably going to go live in the back of the car, because the idea with this, the whole idea behind this quilt is to have a quilt that you can treat like crap and not have to worry about it. So this one, because we still have Bruno, oh geez, I missed in 2 spots. This is what you get when you try to hurry. You end up with shit. This is a nice thing about this kind of a quilt, though. I don't have to actually fix it. I can just go over it again. I thought it was going off center, but I couldn't quite tell. I need to do something with the lighting back in here. I think, you ever notice just before your light bulbs are ready to blow out, they seem to get dull? Yeah, it was so many of my kids' baby blankets. Well, this is the thing, is like, I'm using up all my scrap. So I can throw this in the car. I can have something that's going to look really cool. And if it gets a grass stain on it, I cut out the stained part and throw in a new patch, and I'm good to go. So this one here goes like that. Okay. I'm going to have a tiny hole there, which I have to come back and fill, which I know. That was part of the plan, right? This is actually going together very quickly. So I'm going to put this one on here, right? Then I'm going to eyeball it and get that one up in the corner. So I'm going to go like this. Then I'm just going to go like that. Then I just have to come back and go like that. These two at the top are going to be really easy. So let's see if I can get these. I want to get this part done quick. I need to not hurry. I've got all day, right? I need to not hurry, but I want to have this done by the end of the day today. But that for me, because I'm feeling a little whiny, I was hoping to have this done by like Friday. I was hoping that Friday I would come back, flip on the camera, and put it together. But now Lisa was homesick the one day because she wasn't feeling well. I never sleep well when somebody in the house is not feeling well. That's just the way it goes, right? Okay, that goes there. Now this one I already know goes like that. So there. This is the edge. So all of this is coming off, but that all gets turned back into. Okay, I'm gonna feed this through in this direction. Get that on there. Yeah, I think this is going to be I think this will make a perfect car blanket. Actually, it'll make a perfect car blanket, because we've got a thing in the car right now that's spongy for Bruno to sit on when we're driving around, but he probably would like this a lot more. Cover and protect the car. Give the dog somewhere comfortable. He'll probably get a better grip on this too. He'll probably get a better grip because of all this, and then I don't have to worry about anything happening to it. Oh my God, this is going fast. I just turned the camera on I just turned the camera on less than 10 minutes ago. Okay, these two get lined up properly. Yeah, we've got a really nice day today. Like, I mean, we've got one of those, hey, I wonder if we should be thinking about turning on the air conditioner days. It's not super hot here. It's not super hot, but it felt like a big shift. It felt like one of those big immediate shifts in the weather. So we're like, well, I think we're gonna tough it out. I don't need to worry about it today. I've only got to use the iron for a couple of minutes. So since I don't have to do much with the iron, okay, so now that one goes that away. How did I have this one lined up? Oh, okay, that one lines up on this side. So I'm not cutting that. Let me see what we're going. Yeah, let me just double check. I gotta make sure that how I'm lining all this stuff up. That goes, yeah, that can go there. I don't know if you were around, but what I did, I bought this particular mat, the mat that I keep on this spot here. I get these are really cheap mats. So I just took and I marked where the 20-inch is with some Sharpie. So then I just, because this needs to finish at 20 inches. So now I can just kind of, okay, that overlaps there, that overlaps there, that overlaps there, and we're good. As long as it's overlapping on that side. So I'm gonna wrestle these two into place. Hey Jenny, how you doing? Oh, I just screwed up the camera again. Screwed up the angle. Should be a little higher. But it's not wobbling like you're trying to watch through an earthquake. So yeah, it's funny. It's actually, I'm wearing shorts today, which is nice. I was just telling Cece I didn't get a chance. I didn't get a chance to get back, and of course, a little bit of back stitching at the intersections. Make sure that they're sealed down well. I didn't really get a chance to go back, and I didn't get any chance. I got no chance to come back and work on this after the last time I was going live. So today, I am finishing this one, which I'm just. This one laid out really well, so I'm really happy with how this one went. I've just got to trim it. I got to trim it to size and then put some binding on it, and then I get to connect it all together, and it's done. Oh, did I backstitch at that? Yeah, it was already backstitched at the I think I'm going to put this in the car because we have a thing in the car right now for Bruno to be on, for Bruno to sit on when we're in the car, but it's old, it's filthy, and it's really difficult to clean. So I think we're going to replace that with this. Oh, I've got to cut all that anyway. Okay, this one last little bit. Where'd I put it? That's the one. That's the one I had. So this can be. Where's my black? Okay, I'll cut more of this one then. Be right back. That works out. Where's my big moon? There it is. I'm just talking to myself over here. It's okay. I'm okay. There we go. Okay, what color is that? That's this color, so I'm gonna switch it. I'm gonna switch that one up with some. I'm gonna need that other piece in a minute anyway. So, yeah, this is gonna be a great keep it in the car blanket. Bruno can sit on it when we're in the car. Actually, this doesn't need to be that big. You know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to cut. I'm going to cut the whole thing off. No, you know what? I'm lazy. I'm really lazy. This can be like 2 inches by 2 inches. It doesn't need to be that big. It's a really tiny hole. The tiny hole here is like that big. See that one right there? It's the tiniest little hole, but I don't want it to cover. I don't want it to get too much onto. It's got to go onto the bear and the fox, and I want to keep it small, so it interferes as little as possible with them. So, la 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 la, la la la. Let me get that. Oh, you know what? This one's already bound on two sides. I get to be even lazier. Okay. What am I doing here? This goes like that. If I do that, cover it backwards a little bit. Oh, straight stitching, please. One. Come on, come on. I'm just doing these quick. My leg, it still hates me. My leg still hates me. I don't know what the hell's going on with it, but it's getting better. It's basically whenever I have little flare-ups all the time. It's not that big of a deal, but if it goes past a certain point, then it fucking hates me. So that's a thing. Okay, now if I go like this, if I go like that. Okay, what I did here was, I don't know if this is going to make sense. What I did here was I sewed the pretty sides together from the back, right? But if you loop it, if you fold it around the front just a little bit, then when you pull it, see, it's like, oh my God, but you put it around to the front. But when you do that, then it just automatically folds itself into place, and it's much easier to do. So I'm going to do the same thing on this side. Fold it over just a bit. You can do it a bit, or you can do it a lot. But it'll help reduce some of that bulk that I'm going to get at the corners. You can do it. I was doing that I learned how to do that for masks. But no, okay, here's the thing. My leg having flares is not that big of a deal. It really isn't. It's honestly, like, I've been very fortunate. People that have got what I have end up in wheelchairs. So which is why it's like, oh, well, I'm not doing stand-up work then. Okay, now let me see if I've done it wrong. If I've done this wrong, I've never gone around a corner with this before. If I've done it wrong, it's not going to be a big deal because I still have this piece to use, right? So that one goes up, that one goes up. Yep, and then everything's going to tuck in. So my corners are already done. I'll just leave that one on and take that one off. Me and my gloves. No, it's okay. It always clears up once the weather's nicer. Once we start getting some nicer weather, it clears up. Life gets a lot better. Okay, I'm gonna do a beveled edge here because I really want that corner to stay in. And it wants to fight back. But no, it's getting better. It's just fucking annoying when it does this. But better than it was. Better than it was. Anyway, up we go for that one. Up we go there. This one's not going to look like much, and that's fine. This is one of the reasons why I didn't want it to look too... What the hell happened there? Did it shift, or am I just blind? I think I'm just blind because it didn't shift. I'm backing up because it's like, oh, I didn't shift it. I have to go back and make sure it gets in there. It's like, it's already in there. Oh, that's great. That's great. Oh, yeah, I'm still playing well. My God, I have no life. I will get back to Dreamlight Valley. Probably sooner than later. Okay, I've been a little lazy about this one, and I don't care. I don't want it to be all that. I do not want it to look or feel all that special to begin with. So it's fine. Come on, get in there. You know what the really funny part is when you're doing, the really funny part of sewing is that the smaller pieces are more tedious, because if you make a little mistake on a big piece, your eye will be very, very likely to ignore it. But if you make a mistake on a small piece, it's hard to miss. It's like the catch-22. It's like, but I don't want to spend. I sewed too wide of a seam. Actually, I don't care. I don't care. This is supposed to be an I don't care project. I did this before too, where I sewed too wide of a seam. I sewed too wide of a seam when I was sewing this on, that I had to get it peeled all the way back in. Yeah, I'm still playing. Well, you know what I'm doing right now though is I'm taking my max level character and I'm going into areas that were difficult before. And I'm going back. You know how if you get overpowered for an area, you just then you walk back in and you're just like killing everything. It's like boom, got it, boom, got it. So I'm doing that there, and that's just gonna go there. That's just gonna go right there. And then I gotta get stuff out of the way though. You guys can kind of see it a bit, but this big piece is now gonna be flopping around over there. There. This is why I end up losing stuff, because I forget to clear this spot, and then yeah. So basically, there's all kinds of pets, mounts, achievements, and stuff like that I never got before. That it's like, well, now that I'm overpowered for the area, it becomes my low effort, low thinking. It's still fun, but it's not. Oh my god! I gotta. It's not. It doesn't get you wound up. Well, that's what I was going to do a straight stitch. I put it back to zigzag for some reason. I am distracted. You know what it is? Okay, I'm at that stage. It's like as soon as I get these two, as soon as I get the binding on these two, I'm putting everything together. And as soon as I get this little patch on, I'm moving on to the binding. So the actual hole is off to the side here, but I didn't want to cover the bear or the fox. So yeah, if you ever want to do sewing, start with projects where everything's a little bit bigger, because then any mistakes that you make the eye just slides right over. Because look at it. Well, I'll bring it up in a second, because this is I rushed. I was using scraps. I didn't take the time to make sure it was properly squared off. That's 100% all me. And it shows. And it's fine. It's fine because of the project I'm doing. Yeah, I love lazy gaming. I think that's part of the reason why I'm back into WoW so much right now, because I get to do the try hard if I feel like it, but I've got tons of lazy gaming I can catch up on. And I'm doing way too much of that, but it's okay. There we go. So when I get down over here, and you can see it, see this isn't straight. That's not straight. This is whatever it is. But if I get in, and I don't think I can get close enough, but you can see a line of red stitching right there, because when I sewed this to the back, I made it too wide. But if this was on a bigger piece, if this was on a piece that was this big, you would not notice that one of your corners is a little funky, but this, you will notice. I still haven't even turned on I don't know, there is a fucking $ symbol. No, it's not going to do it. Let me see. There. Oculus. Okay. There's a $ symbol that shows up. It's on my end. You guys can't see it, right? I have been sewing. I don't know how to describe it. I learned how to sew enough to do my own mending and my own little bits of this and little bit of this of that. I never really started sewing with any seriousness until I started doing the shop. So 8 years. 8 years. I've only been doing various flavors of quilting for. I better check that one too. I've only been doing various flavors of quilting on and off for the last 3. No, it's got to be more than that. 4 years, maybe 4. But yeah, I just like you know what? I always say what I'm doing while I'm doing it, because there are some people that stop by once in a while that are into sewing. Like Linda's into sewing, right? Oh, well, thank you. Like, I don't know how to describe it. I've known how to sew for a long time. I never started taking it seriously. No, that's got to go all the way over there. That'll be fine. That's good. This is going into a center. And then we got to come all the way back to here. Okay. I'm just gonna cut this one from here because I can. So these leftover pieces, these pieces that I'm cutting off are still wide enough to make small pieces for. And one day when I'm looking for something to do, I will swing back. You guys get to look at my armpit. Enjoy. Don't worry, I shaved recently. So one day, yeah, see, that's still a pretty big piece. So I will bind it and throw it in the bin and then wait for the next one. Now, I like to say what I'm doing as I'm doing it, on the off chance that somebody who's new-ish or whatever swings by and goes, oh, hey, what was that you just did, or whatever. Some people come in looking for ideas. I'm all about the sharing, so no, you don't go like that. You go like that. But otherwise, I'm up for all kinds of conversations. Think of a topic. I'll babble for hours. You come off of there. You know what it is, because I should be over there doing it. I just say I've got this one trimmed and I've got the other one trimmed. I've got these two trimmed, and then they're good to go. How many total bags I've sold in the shop? 9,800 and something. I'm not that. And of course the shop's shut down now because between the tariffs and the post office. But yeah, and that's okay. 9,800 and something. I've definitely gone over 10,000 because that's not counting. I've done a few special orders in my time, and of course I've done over 100 for Lisa. Yeah, you know what? I'm the same way. I love watching people make all kinds of things I don't know how to do. Sometimes I'll watch somebody like make a shirt. So there's slightly different techniques involved in different types of sewing, and I can't sew clothing. I can't sew clothing to save my life. So yeah, I'll sometimes sit around watching people make clothes. Okay, 2 inches should be that extra bit that I need. Get up there. Okay, 2 inches does 2 sides. Okay. Now, but I've also made, so I've done and that's total though. That's not just bags. That's bags and pocket pouches and all the things. But I've definitely done a lot. But that's over 8 years. I don't know where I see the shipping. Okay, here's the unfortunate reality that I don't like any more than anybody else does. Which side did I start with? Okay, that side's all been done. So I'm going to start here and go back to here. So I trimmed this one, and then I've trimmed all the way around. So I'm going to start one here. The unfortunate reality, the brutal reality, is that from an American perspective, tariffs are a good idea. I don't have to like it. It's kind of like, it's kind of like being a toddler admitting bedtime's a thing. Every single country in the world, including Canada, has some sort of protectionist policies in place to make people want to prefer shopping in their own country instead of shopping elsewhere. If I spend more than $50 on stuff from the States to bring up here, I have to pay duties. A duty is a tariff that goes onto a private person, right? Okay, how did I do that last time? I gotta go in from the back. Go that way. I gotta go that way. This is future Peggy's problem once I get to that spot. So the U.S. has never had a tariff. Not really. They've never really had an effective tariff. An American can buy $800 worth of stuff before there's a tariff, right? Tariffs don't sound like much, but in the States, you can buy over $800 worth of stuff before anybody's charging you a tariff, this and that, and this and that. But we can't do the same. It's called the de minimis. It's the amount that you can get for free before you have to start paying taxes, duties, and all that other stuff, right? There are countries in this world that have 100% tariffs on consumer goods. Like there are people like if you're in Italy, if you're in America, if you're in the States, before all this started, right? I know this because I ship to these countries. If you're in the States, you can buy $800 worth of my bags and it's not going to cost you duties at all. If you're in Italy and you buy one bag, you're paying a 100% tariff. So the States has actually had a very generous policy, a very generous situation where they're not charging any tariffs on anything, which is absolutely awesome if you're me. Oh, I gotta fill in that little hole. But the reality is that the United States is pretty much one of the only countries that doesn't have tariffs. And the idea that everybody's I think the situation got super political super fast. And that's why everything got super out of fucking control. But yeah, like, so if you buy prior to the tariffs, you could buy $800 worth of my stuff and it shows up in your mailbox and that is the end of it. Go to Italy, you buy $800 worth of my stuff. Post Italy calls you and says, hey, I've got a package for you to come pick up. Your tariffs on this are going to be, it's not 100%, but it's close. Your taxes and duties on this is going to be an additional $600, $600 to $800. So it's almost, it depends. There's some slight variances depending on what the item is. And nobody's talking about this. Everybody's going, Trump's tariffs are horrible. Trump's tariffs are horrible. And it's like, they're horrible for me. I didn't like it. Absolutely. But it's like the same countries, like my country, is going, this is unfair. This is illegal. This is a problem. Are like, dude, I can't buy more than $50. If I spend more than $50 in the States, I'm paying a tariff. I'm paying duties. I'm paying taxes. Why are you freaking out and calling it unfair that the United States wants some of the same thing back? And like I said, I'm not happy about it. Of course I'm not happy about it because I was affected by it. But I think people are taking, I don't know if you want to call it out of context. I don't know what you want to call it, but the argument has been so completely politicized that nobody's having a rational conversation anymore. I think if Canada had said, you know what, we're going to make things fair. We're going to scrap our de minimis and we're going to start letting Canadians spend up to $800 on American goods before we charge taxes and duties. I think they could have fixed the fucking problem in one step. It's like, yeah, let's do the same. Let's make it equal. Yeah, well, here's the thing: is that like, I'm when you're on the outside looking in, because I do feel like, okay, don't forget, I have been very grateful and enjoying the fact that my shop was so successful for so long, but we never put ourselves in a position where we were relying on the money. So I can have a much different and much less butt-hurty attitude about the whole thing, which makes it easier to see both sides. What Canada should have done, what our Canadian government went, we're going to win this trade war. It's like, we rely on the United States to buy 75% of our shit. We're not winning nothing. As an economy, the United States only relies on us for 3% of your stuff. 3%. You guys only buy. You guys only 3% of your purchasing goes to Canada. 75% of ours goes to you. That's like, no, it's ridiculous. Our government was a completely idiotic mess to go, we're going to win this trade war, because we can't. Canada cannot win a trade war with the US. And anybody who's willing to get their, and I get it, don't like Trump, fine, don't like Trump. That's irrelevant to the economic situation that's playing out. Like, whether you like Trump or not, his job is to look out for the US economy, not the Canadian economy. And so, yeah, in Canada, what we should have done in Canada is said, you know what? We are enjoying the luxury of being able to sell to Americans in $800 lots without our American business friends, however you want to express it, my American customers do not have to pay special taxes or duties on anything that they buy. And we should be doing the same thing for you guys, so that we can open up the Canadian market to American sellers. And we didn't do that. We're going to win the trade war. It's like, nope, we have like, I think we're just pushing up to 50 million population right now. You guys have 350. It's like, no, we're not winning this. Anyway, I babble. And like I said, I'm not happy that it happened. Of course, I was affected by it. I wish it didn't happen, but Canada could have fixed it in one step. Hey, America, what if we just scrap our de minimis and you guys could start having the really strong benefit of retail sales going. I bought fabric. There was this one particular fabric that was only available at Joann's. I bought it from Joann's, and I had to buy. I was paying duties on it. And it's like, and it was less than $100 worth of fabric. I'm paying duties on it, right? Yeah, we like the babbles. Peggy babbles all the time. But no, like Trump, what? And here's the thing, even a broken clock is right twice a day. Trump was right about tariffs. They are unfairly leveraged. The tariff situation from the American perspective is very, especially with Canada. Canada gets a much better deal than the U.S. does. And of course, I don't give a shit about iron. I don't give a shit about, steel and aluminum and stuff like that. I give a shit about retail sales to the States. And that could have been fixed in one step. We're going to drop our de minimis to make things more fair all the way across the board. Okay. Problem solved. I think the situation was made political. Okay, there's an economic, there's having a situation that you need to sort out, and then there's, let's make it so political that we can't get anything done, right? And I do think that is exactly what happened. Okay, this one here, that's not big enough, but that is. If I sew these two together, then I have a big enough piece to do the next side. Any alien sightings? Ooh, yeah. Are you guys keeping an eye on that? This is getting really, really interesting. This is getting really interesting. All the talk about aliens and stuff. There is yet another congressional probe happening, talking to even more people. I think we are going to get some disclosure. You know what? I think disclosure's already happened. You ever heard of a business having a soft opening where they just kind of quietly open the doors and then they have their grand opening later once they get the kinks worked out. Does that, do you know what I mean? I think that we are having our aliens are real soft opening where the government is concerned. Where government acknowledgements are concerned, I think we are having our soft opening now, where, because they're talking about it, they're showing videos of unexplained alien craft in congressional hearings. There was just recently a new set coming out. Trump has ordered yet another. Oh my God! And again, I don't know. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to all my American friends, but Trump derangement syndrome really is real, and I think it makes it really hard for well-meaning, intelligent people to really get to the truth of something. Trump has for the second time ordered disclosures. It's like, yeah, you need to release all the information you have. The first time he issued the order to release all the UFO files, the Pentagon said, well, we can release this. Everything else is national security, blah, blah, blah. And they basically refused to do it. They only released a little bit of stuff. And he's ordering it yet again. And when they were talking about it in the congressional hearing, and okay, I'm on the outside looking in. I'm not on anybody's side. I do not think Trump was the best choice, right? And that's fine. But this one, a congresswoman is like, blah, 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 alien disclosures, like, with the Trump administration actively blocking disclosure. And it's like, he's ordered disclosure twice. It's the fucking Pentagon that's been declining, and other agencies. Like, he's the only president to have actually ordered the disclosure of UFO information. And this person who reached a position of power and is sitting in a congressional hearing is going, we really need to protect the American people from Trump's influence and his persistent blocking of UFO files. And it's like, he's the reason why this is happening. It's like, because he doesn't care. He's like, yeah, go ahead and release it. If this is really going on, the people deserve to know, right? And I get a little frustrated by that. It's like, stop acting. I don't know how to describe it. It's like, I think I haven't watched it on Netflix. I saw a couple of clips on YouTube, and I keep telling myself I want to sit down and watch it. There's a whole bunch of stuff coming out. Now they're talking about whistleblower protections for people disclosing UFO stuff, which is really interesting. I think that is incredibly interesting, because you could reasonably argue that you could reasonably make an argument that disclosing the UFO disclosures. Okay, I've only got to do this. Here's my Fox. I'm not going to go down. I might go over this a little bit, but I've got to do that little stretch there, and then this is done, and I can finish this one. What was I just saying? Oh my God. This is why I ramble. I start a sentence, I forget a sentence. But no, you could. They were one of the bigger topics of this last round of congressional hearings. I don't think it was the entire thing, but whistleblower protections for people who come forward with information about UFOs, right? Oh, I gotta go see that then. It should be easy enough to find. I think. Oh, I did it wrong. Oh, I didn't. Okay, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to cut this a little bit long. Okay. I'm going to cut this a little bit long, and I want it to get to there. And I'm going to fold that now. I'm going to fold it now so that when I get to here, I don't lose my. I'm going to go a little bit past. Oh, I don't need to go a little bit past. Okay, I'm going to go right to there. Over there. You could reasonably argue, and I mean very reasonably, you could make a very strong and reasonable argument that if UFOs are real, based on some of the things that people have reported seeing and experiencing, because people are talking about abductions and all sorts of shit, right? You could make a very strong and very reasonable argument that because whistleblower protections don't extend to protecting you when you are disclosing military intelligence and stuff like this, right? And you could make an active argument. Okay, where is it? Oh, that's what I'm looking at. This one here has. I never did do the little. You have to sew it from the inside because the last thing you want is for like somebody to be actually using it as a blanket and then get their toes or fingers, especially if you end up with a kid, or in my case, a little puppy, get their little toes stuck in there. Anyway, but you can make because whistleblower protections do not extend to certain types of, national. I'm going to reveal national security secrets, but I'm a whistleblower, so you have to protect me. It doesn't work that way. Come on. It's a very small hole, and I don't want to overdo it. Okay. Sometimes they say to leave the pin down and turn your fabric, right? Sometimes, and leave your pin down, spin your fabric around, but the needle will move a little bit. It can move. So before you start, if you're working with something that's relatively heavy, like this is actually quite heavy, even though I'm only working with a small piece of it, stop and double check where the needle is. And if the needle has shifted to a position that you're not comfortable with, then I have a button that'll just bring it up, or turn your thing by hand and bring the needle up and let it center again before you start sewing again. It'll just save you a lot of drama. Especially, like I said, as I was futzing it, the needle will move a little teeny tiny bit, right? But if the needle's pushed, it's like I can go like pretty far. If the needle has pulled over too far, then that snap out and back down can sometimes line up your needle badly, and then you end up breaking a needle. If it's only shifted a tiny bit, you don't have to worry about it. But if you think it is shifted more than it should, or more than you're comfortable with, then just bringing it back up one time before you continue. It's catch-22. You got to leave it down. If you have to leave it down when you're pivoting your fabric, because your fabric, you want it to stay like this. If you put the needle up, you could go and end up with it way away from where you want it. So it's best to leave the needle down even with heavy stuff. But if your needle has shifted out of if your needle is shifted out of place, like now this one's out of place, so you can lift your foot and it may snap back, and if you lift your foot, or you can lift the needle and snap it back that way. Either way. I just back stitched on that just because I didn't like the way it was lining up. There we go. I just forgot to do that. I'm getting excited because I'm getting almost done, right? Okay. Now, which side am I starting on? Why am I having such the brain cramp right now? I'm going to be starting. Yeah, I'm starting right here. Starting right here, but I have to. Yeah, this is a heavy duty machine. And it's fine. I have to make another bobbin because there's no way I have enough. Well, I might. I'm not going to take a chance. I'm going to be changing the bobbin anyway. And yeah, I don't have enough. Yeah, age of disclosure. Oh, it's on Prime. There have been some of the biggest UFOs have been seen coming and going from the ocean, and they've been seen by military vessels. Hey, Lime, what happened? Oh, my shop. I closed it down. The tariffs, between the tariffs and the postal issues, because our post office is voting once again whether to go on strike or not. It just was not worth it anymore. So I decided to shut it down. I'm also 61. I've got a minor disability. It's a physical disability, and it's not that big of a deal. But there's no point in fighting against that too. So it was just time. It was just time. I've got no hard feelings about it, but yeah, it was time. So it's gone. But I'm now able to focus more on quilting. Okay, I am just popping on a new bobbin. Oh yeah, you said it must be a heavy duty machine thing. No, it depends on the machine. It really does depend on the machine. Don't forget, I'm trying to, because this is already done. It's kind of thick. This is like what, 4 layers? So I'm shifting a fairly thick amount. Oh no, I'm doing everything's fine. Everything's fine from my end. we never put ourselves in a situation where we had to have the income from the shop. So it's always been a hobby that paid for the frivolous things of life. So it's fine. It's fine. It is what it is. Lisa's been wanting me to slow down for like the last 2 or 3 years. She's like, starting last year, it was like, you're 60 now. You're 60 now. You shouldn't be doing this anymore. You don't, you need to relax. It's like, dude, I'm bored. What do you want me to do? Make more quilts. Make me stuff. Okay. But no, it is what it is, and it's fine. I mean, who knows? I was actually saying that to Lisa the other day. I was like, well, if they ever get the tariff situation, the postal situation, I have absolutely no faith in Canada Post to be able to fix this situation in any way that's going to make sense to anybody, but that's a whole different problem. Okay, so I started with this folded. I sewed this in already folded, so now I just gotta. I always, for some reason, I have no problem doing it on the fly, except for that first little bit. And I'm still bitter that I can't be using my Janome. Nothing. Well, it didn't snap in. It has a snap in it. Okay. There's gonna be a little loose spot right here, right? But because I'm going to be sewing this side, and then I'm going to be sewing this side anyway, so I'm just going to leave that. And because it's staying in my house, if there's an issue that I decide to be concerned about, I can always come back and sew it in later. That is the one nice thing about sewing for yourself. There we go. I'm just going to trim some of the bulk off of this. These are a little wider than the other. I don't know if anybody who was here watching me do this last week when I was finishing up the other ones. I'm using a slightly wider piece of fabric right now because it'll add to the junk look. It'll add to the ugly look, and I can do them faster. Oh my God, okay. Do you guys want to hear a fucking story? And it's not the buyer's fault. Remember that. I'm going to start every sentence with that. My very last order was to the UK. She still hasn't gotten it. I closed the shop almost 3 weeks ago. She still hasn't gotten it because every time fucking Canada Post, the American Post Office doesn't have strikes, and I don't know where anybody else is from. Every time Canada Post goes onto a strike vote, they get really slow. And unfortunately, and it was my choice. My choice, my bad, and I'm fixing it. I'm gonna make her I'm making her more bags, and we're gonna send them up. It's like I have never once, not once in 8 years, had a package to the UK go missing. This one disappeared. So pissed because every time these idiots, every time they go in for a strike vote, they start getting real lazy about doing their jobs. So, but the unfortunate problem is that if they are not paying attention where shit is, and it's sitting in the back of a warehouse somewhere, it can disappear. It can get damaged. Okay, it won't get damaged by something dropping on it. It's all fabric, right? But if it's in the back of a warehouse that's wet or really, really damp, so she could get this shit 6 months later covered in fucking mold. I am so pissed, and I'll tell you right now, it's like message from the I swear a lot, by the way, Lime, in case you weren't aware of that. But it's like message from the fucking universe that, don't feel bad about this, right? Canada Post is unfortunately my most cost-effective option for sending things. So I've been sticking with Canada Post because it's my best. Not out of loyalty, but because it's my best. It's my best and most effective option based on what I'm sending. So yeah, it's like, so walking away going, yeah, fuck you guys. I am glad that I am no longer doing this. Because that was the final straw. Because we're going to tentatively. The buyers being absolutely amazing. That's why I said absolutely not their fault. She reached out. I said, hey, because she'd already ordered something. She ordered something from me like the month before, was her very first order. oh, this is awesome. I'd like to order this and this and this, please. So she orders that stuff, right? And then that second one disappears. Not her fault. I'm replacing everything. I threw Lisa onto the problem. I said, because sometimes I have a blunt way of talking. And if you don't know me very well, you might think, I don't know how to describe it. Ask Jenny. She knows, right? Sometimes I have a blunt way of talking. So it's like, look, this person just realized her package didn't show up and my shop is closed. Can you please go play nice? Because if I say one wrong thing, okay, if Jenny was my last customer, I'd be going, bitch, you'll get it when you get it. And I wouldn't have to worry about how I talk to her. Because she would know me well enough to know that I'm not going to fuck her over, right? So yeah, so Lisa's been on it, and she found the shop through Lisa's channel. I forget. So she's super. Yeah, see, Jenny gets it. So Lisa's handling the customer service end of things, because to make sure I don't accidentally say something that the wrong way to a stranger. I'm good. I am good talking to people. Yeah, she was not she was actually really concerned. Like, hey, I'm just checking. Is this normal? Like, she was doing the I'm just checking thing, and that's like, oh fuck no, fuck Canada Post. So we just jumped on it right away. We said, hey, give it a few more days. If you don't have it by, I forget what date we gave. It's like, if you have not got it by this date, contact us back. We will sort this out and make sure that you're taken care of. So she's being an absolute sweetheart about it, but fuck Canada Post, because the only reason why this happened is because they're taking a strike vote, because they did back in, like, I think it was late November, early December. Oh, we've come to a last minute agreement. We're doing this. And isn't it awesome? Canada Post saved Christmas for everybody by deciding not to go on strike. We're going to take this tentative agreement. We're going to take this tentative agreement and wait for 5 fucking months before we vote on it. I knew that they were going to do it too. I knew. I told everybody, I said, the union's going to wait until the last minute, and then just before the strike vote happens, that they are going to then turn around and go, oh, we changed our minds. You guys shouldn't agree to this. And that's exactly what they fucking did. I got to blow my nose. Apparently ranting makes my nose running. I'm not finished. I'm not going to go all the way to the end, because if I'm hanging on right here, it'll pull funny. Right back. I don't know why I brought my glasses over my glove. Ha! I decided to pee while I was up too. Yeah, their union is completely okay. Canada Post had a contract. Okay, contract ran out 3 years ago. So the union has been playing fucking games ever since. So they go to the negotiating table. They say this isn't working. So what happened before was they went on strike, and they went on strike, and the Canadian government said we're making, because the Canadian government can do this, we're going to make a back to work order, and you guys are going to have to go back to work. So they went on strike. They got forced back to work, but there's still work. There's like, you guys are gonna work. You guys are gonna go on the old you guys are gonna stay on the old contract, go back to work, and you guys are gonna start and go. You guys need to negotiate. So they go back to work, and then they go back to renegotiating. The negotiations break down, and then they go back on strike, and it's been creating an endless struggle. I mean, an endless cycle, because they still don't have a contract, and they have, obviously, the league, because they're a union, they have a legal right to vote on the contract, to vote for their working conditions. So this is what the union's leveraging to play fucking games. But the union, okay, you know what, I'll tell you right now. The only way for Canada Post to stay in business is to get rid of like 25 to 30,000 workers. They only have 55,000 to begin with. And when you look at it this way, the postal, this is entirely math. The Postal Workers Union is not just a bunch of guys sitting in the back office after work handling shit. This is an entire organization that exists with their own managers, their own workers, their own everything. And they exist just for the purpose of managing the Canada Post Workers Union. So what's happening is the union has sat down and done the math, and they went, well, wait a second. If Canada Post lays off 25,000 workers, if Canada Post lays off half their workforce, then half of our union dues, our income is going to disappear. Yeah, they make the, okay, here's the problem. Back in the day when workers' conditions were so bad that you weren't even making enough to buy groceries, unions were really, really, really necessary. The unfortunate part is once a union gets big enough, they have their own bills to pay. Like Jan Simpson is like, oh, blah, blah, blah. I know that we agreed on this, but just remember, it's not a great contract. You're still not getting treated fairly. Canada Post has money, and they're lying about being bankrupt. The government owes it to us to keep bailing out Canada Post forever because we're what's that term? What's that term that they use for doctors and nurses? They think of themselves, but anyway. But no, it's math. It's math. This government, the reality that the Canada Post has to lay off workers if they want to stay alive as a corporation, means that the union, all the people that work directly for essential worker. Yeah, we're essential workers and blah, 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 blah. It's like, okay, well, you're essential workers. That's why the government's ordering you back to work. But you're demanding that you have the right to strike. So apparently you're not an essential worker. Pick one. You don't get to be both, right? Okay, that one's done. This one here's got the foxes on it. I do not want the foxes exactly in the middle. I put one on upside. This is going to be a square quilt. This is going to be completely square. So at any given time, any particular side might be up or down. So this one's facing this way, and the fox over here in the corner is facing the other way, and that's intentional. That's an intentional trick that you can do when you're making square projects, because then if you want a fresh look, just turn it 90 degrees. Turn the whole works. Okay, that one's done. This one's done. This one's gonna be done. This one's done. This one's done. I just have to. I've just got loose threads on it. Anyway, I hate the funny thing is, and like I said, I don't know how to express this. I know way too much about the background because I ship internationally. I know enough about the tariffs to know that love them or hate them, and we all hate them. There's a whole lot of reasons why I can understand the reasons why. You don't, and everybody immediately started playing politics and started ignoring the realities of what was going on. I already babbled about that enough, but the Canada Post Workers Union is such a fucking joke. And some of the workers, some of the workers are like, they're all about their union privileges. And some of them are just decent people trying to make a fucking living, right? And you can't tell who's who. So every single union worker gets painted with the same brush. But I've seen comments on social media. I don't really know a lot of postal workers. I've seen a lot of comments from people on social media going, I don't know what you think is going on, but the Canadian government has been lying to us for years, and they have the money, and they have this, and we want that. We're just trying to feed our families. It's like you're trying to feed your families off of tax money that comes from people like me, and you're telling me I should be grateful to give it to you. This is why 60% of businesses have gone elsewhere. I can't put myself. I don't see myself charging $20 for a bag and then a further $20 for shipping, because that's kind of what I would have to do. I gotta do this from the back to the front. So this is gonna go like that. I'm doing the same thing that I did folding it over, and then it'll pop all backwards. Anyway, I fucking hate the Postal Workers Union because they have done more. they don't give a shit about the workers. They don't give a shit about the workers' rights. They give a shit about those union dues paying their wages. End of story. But they agreed. Oh, this sounds like a good deal. Let's vote on this deal. Yeah, and then they delayed. As soon as they delayed it, it's like they're gonna change their minds about supporting this, because as soon as they reach a tentative deal. Yeah. I was I still selling it? No, I wasn't. I took Christmas off. But no. I've got no fucking use for the Canada Post Union. By extension, I have no, like, and here's the thing. All it takes is a few disgruntled workers to screw up. Like, all that has to happen is some disgruntled asshat, while he was putting my stuff, unloading my stuff to the truck at the sorting station or wherever the fuck they take it all, to go, yeah, we don't. This one doesn't need to get, and to throw it behind a bin somewhere, knowing that it's not going to get found for 6 weeks, right? The current voting is happening now. The last vote was the one the last vote is the one that the Canadian government demanded. They said you guys need to have a vote to at least find out. Here's an offer. You guys need to make your guys vote on it to see if it's something they're willing to consider, because this has gone on for too long. And that was last summer. You want to hear that? You want to hear the kick in the teeth, because people don't fucking do math. The current offer that the union said, oh yeah, we will tentatively tell our guys to accept it, and then wait for 6 months and tell them we changed our fucking minds. The current offer that they're voting on is worse than the last one. It is worse than the last one, and they're trying to convince their workers that it's better because they need to save face, but they are so bad at what they fucking do. Okay, so I'm going to cut this. I'm going to cut. You can be as generous or as not generous as you want to be, but I'm going to cut it past. Roll it forward. It's just a cool little trick that until you've experienced it the first time, you don't think it should work, but it does beautifully. What time is it? 4:03, and it shouldn't take that long to zigzag this together into a blanket. So I finished this top, and then I'm putting it together on a blanket. Lisa said we don't have anything going on today. So Lisa is like, well, if you want, I can just mind my own business when I come home, and you can finish this, because I'm not stopping till this is done now. I've only got 9 pieces. Oh, okay. Absolutely interrupt. We started on UFOs, and now I'm bitching about the Canada Post Union again. Now I have a bigger problem with the Postal Union than I do with the U.S. government, because, like I said, whether I like it or not, the tariff issue has been a building issue for decades. It has, and nobody's wanted to be the bad guy and address it. I don't like how ugly things got and how fast it got that way, but it is not a surprise. And sooner or later we'll sort something out, and we'll find out what the new normal is, and everybody can make their adjustments. But Canada Post, they're my cheapest shipping option, so I kind of get the short end of that stick. And they, as far as I'm concerned, they're a much bigger problem for me than the tariffs. The current tariff structure only has me paying about $4 an item to get it across the border. Anyway, Bruno's doing fine. He's very stable now. I told you about the. I'm sure I told you about the vitamin D3 thing, right? He's a little deficient. Turns out he's a little deficient in vitamin D3, which is, and he's gone vitamin D drops now. So he's stabilizing that way. I'm going to do a little bit of a back stitch here. Everything's completely covered, but so he is doing really well, living his best life, having a good time. Now you guys never got a chance to witness this, but Bruno is the guy who thinks barking is his job. As soon as we're outside, Well, you guys have heard him barking, but when we're outside, he will just pick a person. That's all he does. He doesn't bite, never has, never will, but he barks. And he's a lot quieter and calmer now. Because now that it's just him, if he wants it. I think we've always suspected that a big part of his problem was don't step on me, don't step on me, notice me, don't step on me. So now he knows how easy it is to get us to pick him up now. Especially now that he's got mobility issues, we're picking him up. We're checking in and checking on him and picking him up more often. So he's just like, he might bark a couple times and then we say, hey, can you stop? And he's like, okay. And he stops. And it's like, that's been a really positive benefit for him. Yeah, he can't bite. Yeah. Oh, well, you know what we found out? Like we got the blood sample taken, right? It took our vet over a week just to find somebody that does vitamin D testing for dogs. University of Michigan. His sample had to go all the way up to the University of Michigan. But the unfortunate problem okay, he's a senior dog and he's a diabetic dog, and both categories can sometimes. He's not. The good news is that he wasn't severely deficient. But no, he's very relaxed. He's very confident. He's always been a bit of a jealous dog. So now that he gets all of the attention all of the time, he's a lot happier about that. Yeah, they were talking about, what were they talking about in Congress? This is the part that just blows my mind. In Congress, they're talking about they were talking about, like, abduction reports, different types of aliens reported. Like, they're talking, and it's like, I think it's a soft opening. I think it is like, yeah, aliens are out there and we need to start talking about them in a more matter-of-fact way, so that when we finally have no choice but to admit that they're real, we can say, well, you guys weren't paying attention. We've been talking about this for a couple of years now. I think this is, like I said, I think this is a soft disclosure, because don't forget, if they had talked like this 40 years ago, people would have been loot. Do you guys remember? Like, I mean, obviously I wasn't even alive for this. The War of the Worlds. The War of the Worlds was based on a radio show, entertainment, where they did a radio show, and the entire radio show was a series of news bites as if aliens had landed. Well, people who were just, because people used to channel surf on the radio the same way we channel surf on TV now, right? For anybody who's never, the Tom Cruise version of War of the Worlds is not related to the real one. Anyway, the real War of the Worlds happened because a radio show was doing because they used to do radio shows the way that we would do TV shows. Would be sound effects in the background, people taking on different roles, and the entire role of this radio show was aliens have landed. Oh my God, we can see them from the studio. Okay, run, run, run. You'd hear some noise and they'd come back. Make it sound like somebody's running in off the street, whatever. And I don't know all of it, because I'm not that old. Yep. Lots of government and military interviewed. And they're talking about this. This is the thing that caught my attention. They were talking about whistleblower protection. Now, here's the thing. Oh, aliens are real. Well, that's a national fucking security issue, a serious one. And yet they're protecting them as whistleblowers. And I'm sorry, it's like, oh, I'm a global assassin, but now that I'm talking about it publicly, you can't prosecute me because I'm a whistleblower. It doesn't work that way. There are certain things that do not qualify for whistleblower protection, and national fucking security is one of them. So it's like, no, there is definitely PSYOP potential here. Okay, we're done. Okay, now what I've done. Okay, you guys have to go sit in the corner now. I think you guys will be able to see most of it. Can you guys still hear? I don't know what my distance is. Yeah. Don't you tear now. Something caught. Okay. On that, I am zigzagging the whole thing. Oh, I filled up my what color do I want to do this in? Do I want to stick with the red? Do I want to do it all in orange or bright yellow? Do I want to do bright? Okay, the actual War of the Worlds incident was, okay, so the War of the Worlds incident was a radio show. Back in the day, you would have radio programs the same way we have TV programs. They put together this science fiction program about an alien invasion, and they're doing this all over the radio, right? So these guys are in the studio doing this all over the radio, and this is what happened. This is, and you can read up about it. I'm gonna stick with the red, I think. Red, yeah, I'm gonna stick with red. I've already got it on. Okay. So basically they're doing their radio show, and this is going out, and don't forget, everybody's got a radio in their car, a radio in your, cab drivers have got a radio in their cab. They got this, they got that, right? So what we've got here is, because I did the FAFO way, some of these like this one, this side here is shorter than that side. I'm still going to put them together because I don't have to care. This is going to go 3 by 3. Actually, I'm going to put them together like this. I'm going to do it this way. I'm going to do it this way because I do not want this to be on the very outside. I don't really care where it ends up, but I don't want it to be on the very outside. Actually, you guys can come in okay. So what happened was, people are tuning into this show, and this is how it became an incident. People are tuning into this War of the Worlds show, and this is like back in like the late 40s. I need both gloves on. This is back in the late 40s. People are tuning into the show thinking that they're listening to the news. That's what happened. So people are like flipping around the way you channel surf. You're hearing, oh my God, they're coming down the street. We can see them from the building, yada, yada, yada. And they are not realizing that they are listening to a radio show because of the way in which they put the show together. The way that they put the show together left these people believing that they were listening to a real, this is going to go down that side, listening to a real newscast. So people were panicking. They were calling police. And after a certain amount of time, okay, this is going to go on to zigzag because I'm going to have to, obviously I have to zigzag it together, and I'm going to make this as wide as I can. And again, because this is mine and I'm keeping it, if I don't, come on, why are you going over there? Don't go over there, go over here. Anyway, okay, so people started panicking. Yeah, people started panicking, calling the police. So they'd see a funny light in their backyard. Oh my God, I've seen one of them. So there was this massive mass hysteria where there was this massive mass hysteria, people calling in police. So other radio stations are talking about this, thinking that they're reporting the news. And I'm not sure how long this lasted. Apparently this was a radio broadcast in New York. And apparently I'd have to look it up because, sometimes my trivia brain isn't as accurate as I would like it to be. But it's my understanding that it took over an hour to figure out what was going on and go figure it out. They had to go to the radio station, shut down the broadcast. It was, I believe it was based on the book War of the Worlds. I believe because there's a book, War of the Worlds, and I think it's by not Orson Welles. I forget. Anyway, but yeah, so they were doing a radio, because radio adaptations were a thing, right? And that's how they adapted it, and that's what happened. And everybody was freaking out to the point where everybody was jumping at every little noise, and people were calling in normal shit. I heard a thing about mermaid. I saw a snippet about mermaids recently, and it was really interesting. On I think it was a snippet. I've watched a few Joe Rogan episodes, but I don't usually watch him. But he was kind of talking about some of the reports on mermaids, and he said, yeah, I really wish those could be real. Which is like, it's kind of funny when you see big names not afraid to say shit like that. But anyway, yeah, so the whole War of the Worlds as an incident was essentially that and like I said, I forget exactly. I cannot remember whether the book was based on the radio show or the radio show was based on the book. But yeah, there have been people that have claimed to find mermaids. Okay, I got to do a thing. I just noticed I noticed a slipped stitch, and it's just right here. So if I go backwards, there we go. I can come back and fix it later, but I saw it right now. H.G. Wells, yeah, but he wrote it first, and then the incident was. Did he write it after the incident, or did the incident happen first? I cannot for the life of me remember, because this is like, I wasn't even, my parents weren't even born yet, I don't think. Okay, 2 down. 2 down. Maybe I will switch to a different color. Okay, now, for anybody wandering by, because of the intentionally sloppy way that I did this, can you? I don't know if you can see it or not. Yeah, see, that's not laying flat, and it should. If I was doing a proper quilt using proper techniques, that should lay flat. But if it's going to be rolled up in a ball and stuffed in the back of a car because it's my use up all the scrap and get on with life blanket, then who cares? Okay. Oh, same spot. Okay. I got some skipped stitches. Okay. Get over here. I was having this problem before because the thicknesses are off. I'm going to go forward, backward. This is why I'm in, well, not the only reason why, but this. Yeah, that was. There we go. Nope, it does not want to play nice. Let's flip this around. This is a self-created problem here. I'm wondering if this is the problem. I'm wondering if my Janome was not actually having a problem, because I'm having the same issue with this machine. But it's too late. I like the way this one's zigzagging better. So too bad, so sad. Okay, next one. I'm trying really hard. This one's gonna go on last. It's already sewn together. Whoa, I'm gonna fall on my butt because it sounds like fun. Okay, I'm just checking my edges because this edge is bound all the way through. So I don't have to worry about any of these edges letting go if they're on the outside. So they're going to go on the inside. Oh, I want it at that end. I don't really care. I'm trying too hard. Okay. And the good news is that you flip and flop everything around in whatever way makes sense to you. We'll line up the top. Line up the top and get a few stitches in. Be prepared to work with what you got. And don't forget, for myself at least, this is going in the car. So if I ever get a grandkid, I can make another one. I have no grandkids yet. I'm not happy about that. I can sit around with a thread and needle, and if there's any place where I'm concerned about the stitching not catching, it'll only take me about an hour tops to just throw a couple of holding stitches into whatever seems to not work right. Yeah, I'm just kind of wondering that it might not need servicing. That's the only problem it was having. And the zigzagging was the only, skipping stitches on the zigzag was the only problem it was having. And this one is clearly having the same problem. But I do like the stitches on this one. No, you know what though? But that one's got a tension issue. That's why the center stitches were pulling funny. As long as both sides are essentially, as long as both sides are more or less equal thickness. So I'm having the problems where I'm going through corners that are coming, where, okay, like this area here has got, it's underneath the binding. There's two corners here that are, so they're going to be thicker, and they're going to be going through an area that's only half the thickness. Mind you, this might not catch at all because I'm sewing mostly into the binding that I put on after the fact. I think what I'm going to do if I do another one, I think I am going to do more than one. I think what I'm going to do is I think I'm going to do the cut routine, but I think I might bind all the way around. I haven't decided yet. Oh, I can skip that one. Okay. I didn't backstitch on that one, but I can. I'm trying to make them kind of level. Yeah, this one's going through just fine because there's the same thickness on both sides, so it's not screwing up my tensioning. Okay, that's done. Let's bring this back. Yeah, that all went through fine. Not a problem on this one. Didn't skip a single stitch. Okay, these three go to the side. For now. You can go there. Go live there for now. Okay, this one. Oh, you know what? I'm going to put these two together. I'm going to put these two together with this one. That's going to have to go top. That can go. Okay, these. Oh, and okay, now this one here is the one I stole back from my dog, right? Now the reality is that this one here, because it's already been washed, is about half an inch smaller. So what I'm going to do is, they say don't pull. I'm going to pull. I'm going to pull, not a lot, but I'm going to pull just enough. I'm going to pull just enough to make sure that they meet at the correct corners. I do not care if they meet perfectly. This is definitely the there's a quilting saying, because there's a saying in almost everything, that a finished quilt is better than a perfect quilt. So people can get really hung up on making a quilt perfect and end up just giving up, or having issues that they not having issues, but issues getting frustrated, and then you get frustrated and you go, okay, I'm getting frustrated, I'm going to take a break from this, and then just not getting back to it, right? So a finished quilt is better than a perfect quilt, unless you're trying to join a contest. Anyway, I'm going to stop and read some stuff. Okay, let's run the. Yeah, same. Okay, I'll tell you right now. If I was a relatively young person during that radio broadcast, and everybody around me is thinking it's true, I'd be like, because I think they're real. You know what? As a matter of fact, I have this thing. I call it the logic test. It's just a strictly me thing, and I think almost every basis, like if we assume that life in the universe is plentiful, which I think it is, then we have to assume we cannot be the only intelligent thing in it, because it's just not logical to me that we should have this great big giant universe and we are as rare as fucking not humanity. If life was as rare as unicorns, then we would only have 6 kinds of life. We would have humans, maybe a human, a monkey, a couple of rabbit type beings, and maybe a bear and a few bugs. We have over 1 million different life forms on this planet. And we have aquatic, semi-aquatic, desert, extremophiles. There is a deep sea snails. There's a deep sea snail that lives near thermal volcanic underwater vents that is made of iron. I think they literally call it the iron snail. It is in such a high, and don't forget, high levels of iron are toxic and will kill a human being. These things process the iron into their shells. Their shells are their shells are like 50% iron. It's like we have creatures that live in environments on this earth, volcanic vents, a mile under they found microbes in the there's lakes in Antarctica that are like a mile under the ice, right? Freshwater lakes a mile under the ice, and there's living microbes in them. Sure, they're microbes, they're not, but there is, we have animals living in environments that would kill a human being instantaneously. So this ridiculous, so it does not pass the logic test. It does not pass the logic test that we are the only intelligent beings in the entire universe, or that if there's life in the universe, it's only going to be microbes. It's like, there's no reason for that to be true. We have thermal vents underwater that are hundreds of degrees that are harboring life. It's very strange. It's very different. We can't survive in it, but there's life in there. So, okay, now I'm going to be a little, okay. I'm going to put this one right on top of that one. And I think I'm going to change to orange. I think I'm going to change to an orange. Do I have a, yeah, I have an orange that has got lots of bobbin on it, so I'm going to change the bottom. Yeah, it's like it makes absolutely no sense that we are the most intelligent thing in the universe. I don't fucking think so. I don't think we're the most intelligent thing that's okay. I think it's possible. Now, do I think it's realistic? Have you guys ever heard of the Silurian hypothesis, where in the ages of stable climate, we have had ages of stable climate, like we have had, like we are still formally and officially coming out of the last ice age. Officially, we're still in an ice age, because we still have ice caps, right? There have been periods in Earth history where we have had stable weather, no ice caps, nothing, where we've had millions of years between events. And yes, and then a meteor came and wiped it all out, right? But we've had like the period that Tyrannosaurus lived lasted for 110 million years. And you're telling me that human beings have been around for 300,000 years. In the last 7,000 years, we've developed into this. And you're telling me that during another period of Earth history where they've had 10 to 100 million years to evolve, nothing with intelligence evolved at all? Isn't that a brain twist, eh? Something to think about. Now, do I think that is what happened? I don't know, but I think that it would be absolutely arrogant and ridiculous to assume that we never, ever previously. Yeah, it is. It's an awful waste of space for us to be the only thing in it. And okay, and if you're playing the religious argument, God created man. It's like, if God created man and that's the only, God had no particular reason to build an entire fucking universe for just us. It does not pass any logic test at all. But no, I think it's entirely possible that I think what we've got going on is this. I think a certain percentage of our UFO sightings are hoaxes. Just people fucking around because they know that it'll get them their 15 minutes of fame or whatever. I think a certain percentage is people that are so desperate to see something, or so, I don't want to say gullible, because I don't think it's got to do with being gullible. I believe in UFOs. If I see something I can't explain, I'm going to go, well, that could have been a UFO. I'm not going to go freaking out going, I just saw a UFO, but I'm also not going to go, there's no fucking way. Okay. So I'm going to, I don't know if you guys are going to be able to see that. Okay. I don't know if you guys are going to be able to see this very well or not. So That's my witchy, this piece here is my witchy broom. Okay. That's the witchy broom. So that's going to go there. Now this piece here has the fox on it. This piece here has the fox on it. So it's got one facing that way, one facing that way. Witchy broom is facing that way. So I'm going to connect them like this. I'm going to connect them like this so that we've got foxes going two ways. That goes one way. We've got some up and down. We've got bunnies. We've got some moose going that way. I am intentionally trying to avoid having everything being definitively in just one direction. Okay. I love this. I love that I can actually now just keep going and not have to worry about, this is the very first time I've actually been able to finish a quilt on camera, because before with the laptops, because I would have everything on my laptop, with the laptop sitting over there, I just can't put all this shit on my table. So one's on the table. One is coming up into my lap. One's on the table, one's coming into my lap. And again, the way that I'm basically organizing my stuff so that I'm only putting, this is the most width that's going to go in at any one time. I'm sorry. And what more we're not, the fact that we don't see it doesn't mean it doesn't exist. Exactly. Well, and the thing is that, like, okay, like look at crows. Crows are really good. Crows are intelligent, right? Crows are very intelligent. Now, when you look at, when you define intelligence, do I think, okay, let me just back up. This is what I 1000% believe, and you will never ever be able to talk me out of it. I think intelligent life has developed on Earth hundreds of times. And I can prove it because before us, there were Neanderthals. Now, we interbred with them, but we're crediting Homo sapien with being the intelligent ones and Neanderthals with not. We've had all sorts of intelligent things, intelligent hominids that eventually evolved into us, but they were their own distinct thing. So do I think that other creatures, other things developed a workable, usable, useful degree of intelligence and civilization before us? I think it's absolutely true that we did. Crows have their own, if you redefine what civilization means, crows have their own civilization. Crows have certain behaviors. If crows engage in certain behaviors, the rest of the flock will reject them and kick them out. They have their own rules. They have their own thing. They work together as a group. Is that civilization in the way that we enjoy civilization? No. But if we weren't around and they had another 1,000,000 years to work ahead, what could they become, right? I think that we have developed, I think that intelligent creatures and intelligent societies have formed over and over and over again. And we may or may not be the first ones that reached second, third, fourth, fifth levels of it. We might be the only ones that actually leveled up beyond a certain baseline. But you cannot have hundreds of millions of years of evolution and us be the only thing with 2 brain cells in it. It makes no sense. So, like bees, for Christ's sake, bees can actually, a honeybee can go and find some honey and come back and report. Yeah, welcome to the mind fuck. So do bees have a civilization? As an individual hive and colony, there are elements of their behavior that are exactly fitting the criteria for what a civilization would be. They're not us. They're not us. They're not going to be us. They're not going to develop civilization in a way that we would recognize and understand, but they're not completely mindless. Like I said, that might be a different argument. But when you take crows, we have a crow in the neighborhood who every time he sees Bruno now, gets down and hops in front of Bruno until Bruno chases him a little bit. Just hop, hop, and then Bruno will go hop, hop, and then he hops away like. They have their own way of communicating. They have all of the criteria for intelligence. No, they're not as intelligent as us. No, they're not. They don't have They do not have a civilization. They don't. As a matter of fact, I stopped feeding them. Basically, there's two different types of crows. Well, there's actually four, I guess, when you get right down to it. There are local crows who don't go anywhere. They stick around all year long. But then there are flocking crows. There are migratory crows that come and go. So there's migratory. There's flocking crows that migrate. There's flocking crows that do not migrate. Anyway, a flock of crows moved into the area recently, and didn't really. They're still they don't hang around now, but they were hanging around for months. So I would put down food, and like they weren't freaking out. Everybody was being well behaved, but unfortunately, when there's too many migratory crows, or the local crows that just live in groups of 2 or 3, if a flock comes in, they tend to move along, and they did. So, but yeah, there was nothing. You can't do anything about it. But again, that's how do they know? How does the one group know to leave and let the other group? I don't know. Anyway, no, I think in the, how long has it been that they're speculating that life first developed on Earth about 2 billion years ago? You cannot tell me that there were not, even if there were primitive societies, you cannot tell me that there were not societies of intelligent people. I mean, not people, intelligent something populating areas. Yeah, they might come back. But basically, if I haven't fed them in a while, they'll get on the balcony and start cawing at me. They just kind of stopped. The unfortunate problem is that the more food I kept out, the more it was doing to encourage the migratory ones to stay. So it wasn't benefit. I don't want I didn't want to attract the migratory crows because they're really loud. They're the ones that are just in big groups cawing and screaming all day long. So it's like, okay, I got to stop. And then around the same time that happened, squirrels started showing up, and squirrels are a big problem in this building because squirrels love to nest in the attic of this building. Anyway, but it's like, okay. Look at the uncontacted tribes, right? And we you can go find them on various documentaries. They're living in Stone Age conditions. Well, if you were to go into that Stone Age condition and take a baby, got to just enjoy the argument, not the fact that how wrong that would be. If you were to go into one of these uncontacted tribes and walk out with one of their kids that was young enough and raise that kid in normal first world conditions, that kid would be just like us. Just like us. There's no genetic anomaly that makes them live the way they do. It's all environment, location, blah 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 blah. They for whatever reason they settled into those areas for one reason or another, and then just kind of, oh, what are you doing? Oh, you're not supposed to do that. They settled into whatever area they settled into, and then they just simply developed no further. And that happens. And there's not much you can do about it. Okay, so my every now and again, it'll just pick up a loose piece of thread from somewhere. Every now and again, it'll pick up a loose piece of thread somewhere and then twist itself up a little bit. Nothing's broken and if something's broken, I got one more machine. But anyway, so it's like if you were to judge our civilization, and this is where my thinking goes. This is where the logic test tells me is like, we have groups of human beings. We don't have Neanderthals. We don't have anybody else. We have groups of human beings on this planet right now, today, right this minute, who are living about the same lifestyle as a caveman. They're living in the Stone Age. There's not very many of them left, but they're there. And like, I'm 60 years old. They were regularly pulling these guys out of the bush, making contact. I'm sorry, I'm just being a dick. They were regularly engaging in first contact with all kinds of these guys. Even in Canada, there was still some uncontacted northern tribes in Canada, right up until I think it was late 50s, that they finally figured out that they probably contacted their last ones. So it's like, okay, So if you come swinging in, you come swing. So basically, we're having this conversation. Did civilization / intelligent life evolve before humans? Well, yes, I can prove it. You look at intelligent life evolved from our ancestors that are not Neanderthals are not considered human beings, but they were just as intelligent as we were. With a lot of this, with everything was a lot of basically, except for some physical differences, their way of life was virtually indistinguishable as far as they've been able to figure out. So we go to the Andaman Islands, and that's the only human we're encountering. We're like, wow, they've got nothing. They're just cavemen. It's like, but I'm over here, exact same species, going, no, we're not. We're not. So this entire world could have been filled with an intelligent species that just simply never got beyond certain stages. Leave no trace. How, of all the things that we found from 150 to 250 years ago, you'd think there was only like 6 life forms on it. We know that's not true. So yeah, it's like I absolutely 1000% believe that intelligent life, just as intelligent as us, developed on this planet multiple times through multiple channels. Possibly. I mean, okay, I don't think amphibian. I think it's going to be really hard for modern things to be developed by amphibians. But then again, but no, and the only argument. Oh, that's a big difference. What have I got going on here? Whoa, that's got to get really pulled. That's fine. We're gonna intentionally put in a couple of pleats. We don't care. We just got to get it. It can be a little off. It can't be this much off. I'm gonna have a. I wasn't. I got busy talking. So it's like, okay, so you got all this shit going on. So yeah, so something just as intelligent as us comes along. Only what they may or may not have developed as civilization is going to look very different. The people the human beings currently living prehistoric lifestyles on this planet now, they have their own civilization, but it's only ever going to get so far, right? And if we didn't grow up with the resources that we have, we'd be living the same fucking lifestyle. Because we're not genetically more intelligent. There's nothing genetically that makes us. Yeah, that'll be a lot better. I don't care. Okay, I'm debating. I knew this was probably going to happen, especially with this one. This is the one that's already been washed and already pre-shrunk. It's like, if this doesn't quite line up, how hard? Oh, that'll line up if I'm a little rough with it. So it's like, yeah. No, the Silurian hypothesis is not just a hypothesis. It absolutely had to have happened. It did. But it requires us to give a little grace and redefine what we mean by advanced in civilization. Because there are entire areas on this planet where, while we were, okay, and we're not talking small amounts. Like, while Columbus was sailing the ocean blue, we had Eskimos living up, Eskimo and Inuit living in northern Canada and northern Russia, that were working with stone tools and would continue to do so for hundreds of years. We did not develop civilization as a. We did not develop civilization as a wholesale experience. We developed civilization as a small-scale experience that spread out. So if we did not develop technology and spread it out, we would all be still living that way now. And when you look at it like that, you can go, well, so 100 million years ago, an intelligent species of whatever could have had very, very significant civilizations and whatever. And then they had 100 million years to develop to as far as they were or weren't going to get, and then decline and back into extinction. The meteorite. If the giant meteor comes and you're still only at the Stone Age, you're not going to do well, right? Ah, this is awesome. Okay, that's covering that, so that's fine. Good, that was done. Okay. Whoop, no spot. Oh, that's why, because it was trying to go uphill. I'm going to start there. I'm going to go backwards. Just find a spot where the thing got missed. Anyway, no, I think when you apply the logic test, you will find that a lot of things that I think you will find that there is a lot of things that just they have no reason not to be true. Like, are there 40 different species of aliens that have come to Earth? I see no reason. I don't know if it's happened or not, but I see no reason to believe that it's not a possibility. Makes no sense. It makes no sense to say that could never have happened. I'm going to shove this into the back. It makes no sense to say that could never have happened, because the reality is that so there's only us and one. We're not. I'm not done. I know, but I'm not done. I got 3 more to go. Oh yeah, they did this too. I've also got this one. And I need that to be, I did this one with deer on it. And that one's up. Oh, that's going in the same direction as deer. But I've got this one. So I'm going to go like that. No, I'm going to turn that one upside down. I'm going to turn this one upside down. Don't forget, there's other stuff that's going also. There's also other, no, baby. Gotta wait. I'm not done yet. You want a treat? I can do a treat. You want a treat? We're negotiating. Anyway, I'm gonna go get my dog a treat so he'll leave me alone. Come on, let's go get a treat. I know, but you're a bum. Oh, you know what? I'm gonna get you a better treat. I'm gonna get you a cool treat. Let's get you the cool kids treat, because this will shut you right up. Now I know you. Lisa bought Bruno this. Lisa, I'm gonna go put it on the floor. He's only gonna give me a second. Lisa bought this for Bruno. It's all felt, and it's a snuffle mat. So you put tiny treats all over it, and then put it on the floor. Then he gets to be entertained while he digs them all out. That's it. Hey, just a minute. Relax. I'll stay over there. There you go. What do you mean we're not? Oh, you know what? That should go sideways. That should go sideways to that, because I don't necessarily have a lot that's going sideways. Okay. That's going to go that way. That's going to go that way. And then I've got that one to go at the end. Yeah. But okay, I have my... This is my problem, is there they are. I take off... For anybody who wondered why I keep like 4 pair of gloves laying around the house, this is why. Because I take one off, set it down, can't remember where I put it. I got to go pick it up again. Anyway. I think I want that one. Okay, it doesn't matter how they go together, but I think I might flip that so that stays to the inside. Okay. What on earth? Oh, that's not okay. That's okay. I can live just like that. It'll be fine. Actually, I just spotted a spot where there's a hem sticking out. I don't know what happened, but right there where the yellow is, I didn't catch it close enough to the hem, so the hem popped out. And it's like, I obviously do not want that. I do not want the hem to continue to fray, because I don't want to, well, okay, I don't really care. That's the whole purpose. It's the whole purpose of this blanket. But anyway, no, I like to call it the logic test because certain things just make no logical sense. If we have Stone Age societies living on our Earth right now, and don't forget, if you can look it up right now, you can ask Google, and they've estimated that they have only found less than 1% of all the fossils of all the various animals and bugs and whatever, of all of the things that archaeologists have found. They are estimating that they have only found 1% of 1% of 1% of 1%. Like they estimate that for every one they found, there's like easily 10 to 50,000 different things, different types of life forms that they're missing, that they didn't find. Because if you were to go strictly, if you go through it, the archaeology, there's 1,000 different animals in the archaeology museum, right? It's like, that's not a lot because there's over 1 million different animals and plants and bugs and everything alive on Earth today. Probably closer to tens of millions. We are missing more than we've ever found or ever will, because fossils only preserve in very specific conditions, and there are entire million-year gaps of time where those conditions just didn't really exist. So it's like, anyway. No, I mean, I also think it's entirely possible that there are life forms that are out there in the universe that migrated from this planet. Yeah, we can't know it all, but like I said, apply logic. It's like, we're civilized human beings living with electricity and all this stuff that never existed before. And it's like, well, that's fine. We are, but we're still living alongside human beings who never got past the Stone Age. So we cannot assume that it's never happened before just because you've never found any evidence of it before. And of course, whenever they find evidence, they keep finding. They found a hammer in a coal seam that was like, they found, the object looked like a hammer, right? In 100 million year old coal seam, and they're going, no, it was just something anomalous. It's like, dude, it looks like a hammer and it has a petrified wooden handle. The fuck? No, we don't know what caused a modern hammer. It's like, but give it to the logic test. Like, how did it find its way that far underground? Anyway. No, I think I have this thing. I have this thought. It's like, well, it's all true in some way or form. Like I said, the Silurian hypothesis. Oh, okay. Now my thread's breaking. Okay, let's just take a chance. That would help if I wasn't ripping my machine apart. Here we go. Basically, thread is made, even fine thread. There's like 3 or 4 even, this has got 2 even finer threads that are then twisted together. But if one side breaks and the other side doesn't, then you get this really weird fucking mess. Anyway, no, but I think it's incredibly likely. I think it would be incredibly arrogant. Well, it is. It's incredibly arrogant to go, oh no, if there's other life out there, it would just be microbial. Maybe within our solar system. That's very likely. It's very likely within our solar system that if we find active life, that we're only really going to find microbial life. But the idea that no other solar system is capable of having what we've got. Now this I'm going to have to backstitch first, because I had to put the needle up to do stuff, right? So it's very likely not. It's very likely not properly sewn down to just before it started shredding. Basically, like I said, a thread. You're not. I'm not going to be able to show it to you. I don't think. I am. Okay. You can barely see this. There's 2 threads. There's one there and one there. Right? Can you see? Can you barely see that little triangle going there? Come on, get over there. What happened is one of these cut, and then the other one just kept trying to sew anyway, and then it turns into a big mess further up here, and then becomes a knot. And then eventually, if you don't, it's sometimes it can happen a lot. Yeah, it's barely visible. But if it doesn't exactly ruin anything, but you're not going to, it's not sewing down securely because you're only sewing down with half the thickness of a normal thread. And after a while, it will start seizing up and it could cause other problems. Okay, what's going on? Why is it not going that fast? Oh. What's going on? My machine is not stopping. That's not supposed to happen. That was weird, and I hope it doesn't keep going. There we go. Whew. Scared myself. Yeah, exactly. Well, you know what? Okay, let's face it. Okay. No, Bruno, you're all done. There are life forms. There are societies less advanced than us. There are societies more advanced than us, and we're just regular garden variety human beings. I think that it's very like we might find that the majority. Well, we're going to find. I suspect. Bruno, you gotta wait. Bruno, I'm not. No. You gotta wait. Lisa should be home any minute now. Okay, that one's gonna go. Okay, I've got that one there, and I'm gonna make sure I'm gonna put this one on this end. This doesn't have a lot of anything special on it, but I don't want that in a corner. I don't know why. I just don't want it in a corner. No, but like, okay, we've got millions and millions and millions of life forms, different types of life on this planet, and only one that is considered truly intelligent, only one that has an actual ability to form civilizations. I think that it's very likely that we're going to find that the majority of planets may or may not have sophisticated animals. I think intelligent life is not going to be that difficult. Okay, this is my opinion, right? I don't think intelligent life is going to be that difficult to find. I think technologically advanced life might be more difficult to find. But again, we are technologically advanced, and we share the planet with other genetically identical humans that are not. So, Bubby, no, I'm all done. It's all done. I have to work. No, I'm not stopping till I'm done because I'm almost done. He's just being a little dick. But no, Bobby. No, I mean, I do think that we're going to find that. I don't think we're going to find intelligent or compatibly intelligent life on every single planet. But I think on the planets where we find intelligent life, we have just as much of a chance of finding more advanced than less advanced. This idea that we're never ever going to find advanced life, and that that's just arrogance. That's just arrogance playing out. But I also think it's kind of this weird thing. I don't think we're that important. I don't think we're that fucking exciting to. Let's assume that there are 1,000 alien races out there. I think for most of them, we're just not that exciting. But I do think that it would make sense that some of them would want to come and at least take a look. He's barking at me. I gave him a lick mat. I mean, a snuffle mat, but he didn't want it.
Oh.
I'm not stopping because I'm almost done. Lisa says hi to the internet.
You have to stop wanting to kiss me. That's a rule.
I'm probably going to cough on you. Mwah.
No, we did it. We did it without you coughing on me.
Yay! I did it without hacking up a lung on the wife. Isn't that cool? And nice things happen. No, but I do think, I very, very strongly think that there are, like I said, if there's 1,000 intelligent species out there, I think it's completely, oh, everybody says hello. I think it's completely reasonable to assume that several of them are going to make us look stupid. Absolutely. Several of them are going to be not as advanced. I think it's going to be a 30-30-30. I think that if once we get out in the stars, we're going to find that about a third of them are compatible with us within a few decades, one way or the other. A few of them are going to be behind, and a few of them are going to be ahead. But I also think that it's very reasonable to think that our government is very aware of just how many are hovering in our skies and where the compatibility meter is on that. But yep, quilting and aliens. Welcome to my world.
Right?
Okay. That goes there. Which one do I have at the bottom here? And that one's going to be in the center. If I do this, that one's going to be in the center. I can live with that. I can absolutely live with that. Okay, we're just going to put this one together. Last piece, and we're done. Last piece. Now I'm still going to have to go through. I'm going to have quite a few of that kind of stuff to stand. Oh, and one last little chore that I'm going to do, like where these two connect. You're not going to be able to see much. Where these two connect. I'll be going around the outside of it when I'm done, and just at the intersections where they connect. I'm gonna go crisscross. And I'm just gonna put a little zigzag stitch. I'm gonna put a little zigzag stitch where those meet there, because on a quilt like this over time, it's gonna be these corners that are gonna break down first. So if oh wait, there's nothing on that one. That corner has something on it, right? Here we go. I flipped it over because there's no good reason to flip it over. I'm going to flip it back. I'm thinking too hard, and that's not the purpose of this. That is not the purpose of this little experiment. Should I change the colors again? Nah, I'll stick with yellow. Yellow is nice and bright. Okay, so that one kind of rolls up in my lap. This one stays. See, I don't know if you guys are going to be able to see it. See, this was the problem, because it's got to go well, it doesn't have to go all the way, but the more I can spread it out, the easier it is on me to feed this through, right? So, and this right here is where the computer used to sit. So, yay, I'm really happy. Get up here. It's almost done, dear heart, and then it's going to be in the wash, and then we will have it for tonight to maybe throw it in the car.
What's that?
I'll tell you later. Okay, gotta slow down. I gotta slow down. That's always been my problem. It's like, oh my God, I'm almost done. Oh, I screwed it up. Don't know why. Yeah, and then what I'll do is I'll wash it, I'll dry it, I'll inspect it. If there's any parts, like I've got a spot here where a couple of stitches skipped, and if I have any concerns, I can either choose to ignore it and fix it if needed, throw it back in the machine and fill in anything that's like, I should probably fix that one, and then or just do it by hand. But anyway, no, no, it's this weird little game. Yeah, okay. We all play those weird little games with ourselves where it's like, well, if this was a thing, then what about this, right? And it's like a lot of the stuff that we think can't happen, we've got no reason. I'm just going to put that right over top. There we go. Yeah, I like how this is going together. I think what I'm gonna do though is for future. I think I've got enough. I've got enough to start another one. I think for future though, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna piece them together whatever way makes sense, and I think I'm gonna square them off by cutting off all of the tops. I'm finding the sections where I've gone over with a second layer of binding seem to be going together a lot easier. But maybe that's just me. Maybe I'm just overthinking. Okay, anyway. Oh, Bubby, you were fine. And then I've got, once I have this done, the rest of my evening is going to be spent making those bags for that lady in the UK. Not the rest of my it's actually not that bad. We got everything set up last night. We got everything set up last night, and then after dinner, I should be able to pop them together, and then we'll get them in the mail. We'll get them in the mail with Canada Post again, but I'm just gonna throw it in. I'll put it on expedited with tracking, and hopefully get it there in like 2 or 3 days.
We'll be back.
Okay, see you in a couple of minutes. Love you. Bye. I'm almost done, so I should be done by the time you can get back.
That's fine. Are you already started?
Oh well, thank you. Yeah, she just comes in and just summer plans. I don't think we have any summer plans just yet. Lisa is planning. Lisa, Danny, and Dawn are planning to plan, pre-planning. They're thinking about getting together, maybe get a Airbnb, pick a destination, nothing fancy. They like to just get away from it all and sit around reading and doing whatever together, taking their time. So I think they're gonna do a vacation. We don't have any plans that make a lot of sense because, wow.
What?
Did you just teleport out there with them?
I just forgot the bags.
Oh, she forgot poo bags. So Lisa's probably taken off for a week or so to hang with Dawn and Danny. But with Bruno's a diabetic. He's got mobility issues. He may be losing it. Bruno. It doesn't make any logical sense to take to. Bruno can't be left alone, but we also can't really take him with us. So Lisa's going on vacation. I'm pretty sure I get to guard the house, which is fine. Okay, why are you not going in? Well, that's not okay. Okay, that's what I'm gonna have to come back and do that section. Oh, Bobbin's out. Which bobbin did I miss? Not a lot. Not a lot. Bobbin's out. Ooh, you know what I'm gonna do? Screw this. I'm not gonna waste my time. I'm almost done. What bobbin do I have that looks good? That I care? Oh, this is a nice little strange little pink one. I'm gonna use the strange little pink one. There. That's what I should have done. Had like all kinds of funky colors, top and bottom. Oh, I'm gonna have to. I hate that when it's a last minute thing. No, we're gonna do the dog free thing. It's an unfortunate reality, but where we live, it's very difficult to find a place because we rent, right? And where we live, it's very difficult to find a place if you have a dog. So it's like, and our landlord's not selling anytime soon, but he's probably going to be selling in the next 5 to 10 years. And it's like that's going to put me at 71, trying to find a place that will accept a dog. Well, me at 71, Lisa will be what, 59. Anyway, we decided we're going to go pet free, and I'm allergic to dogs. So, which we never realized until, of course, we had dogs. So, There it is. But I'm allergic to dogs, which is already a strike against intentionally getting more dogs. And, oh, that did go okay. That was just that. I'm going to pull that over there. I'm talking to myself. Don't worry, guys. So we got to do that's. I've got some pretty thick fabric here, as well as my thing ran out. So I don't know if it was skipping stitches. There's also skipping stitches. Okay, let's get past this and see if it's actually stitching or not. Okay. It is really thick in that spot, so I'm gonna have to. It's really thick in that spot, so I'm gonna have to come back and do it separately. I'm also just gonna put a couple of back stitches in just because I can, and that is pretty good. That's got to be stretched. That's got to be pushed. Take that off. That's all I got left to go. Except for that little spot there, which I can do by hand. Oh, there's a couple of ways I can do it. Ah. There we go. Not quite a perfect meeting at the corner, but that's not a surprise, and I don't care. There we go. Got him. There we go. Okay, now I'm going to go all the way back to here, to this corner. Oh, wait a second. Oh, there's the corner. Get up there. Okay. There we go. Got it. Got it. How big will this be? Well, I just finished it. Now, there's going to be lots of loose threads to pull off, and that's fine. I can do that later. Let us get this up here. Oh, I can go. Okay, you guys are gonna be generous and ignore my mess over there, right? Because it is done. Of course he got everything. I'm like, did he get all of that? It's like, yes, he did. So it's 60 inches, goes to my chin, 5 feet by 5 feet. There. So it is the correct everything for a coat. This will be a great in the car blanket. 5 feet. Oh, yeah, my house is a mess. I got my fox one there. That's just kind of rolled up in a ball in the corner because I had a nap before yesterday. So yeah, so this is all done. And the only thing I have to do, which I can do anytime or as I go, is just come through here, trimming out any long things. Oh, I never showed you the back. Don't get caught. There we go. Where am I pointed? Oh, I'm just pointing this way. So let's get the back. So that's the back. And it doesn't matter which way the top is because it's square. So no matter which way I put the blanket down, no matter which way I put it down or which way I use it, as a matter of fact, if I'm using it as a car blanket / picnic blanket / sitting on the ground blanket, then it won't matter. Yeah, I got. There's my nod. There's my nod to Canada. Yeah, it's done. And if for some reason I want it to be bigger, I can just do 3 more 20 by 20 and add them on the top. Or I can do 10 by 10 and go all the way around. Yeah, it just looks like you just throw away all the expectations. Okay, this is the part I miss because when I'm holding it up for you guys and I have the computer, it's a much bigger screen. But yeah, try to get it up a little higher. So yeah. That's the back. So you can actually use it front or back. But like, you know, you don't have to be careful like this, right? Like I didn't have to worry about what the back is going to look like. So I just zip that on from the front. I am liking it. And I've only got one really thick piece. Yeah, just the one fox is really puffy. Everything else is this thing. So I am done. I am done. This one's made it on. This one here was a piece that I made. I was kind of sampling something a long time ago. Threw that in. Now I can fuck around with anything I want. Oh, that was okay. It was really fun to be able to finish the whole thing on camera. I don't think I finished a few of the blocks, but even most of that I did on camera. So that was kind of nice. The next one I'm doing is a king size for Lisa. I'll go get the fabric and show you. I'm really happy with how this turned out. But yeah, I just got to take some stuff out. It's only going in the car, so I don't have to worry too much about it. We took an old piece of memory foam, and I basically made like a pillowcase for it. Yeah. You know what? I've always felt bad. Like, you know, like it's like, oh gee, I feel bad in an intellectual kind of way that I can never finish it. Because I come on, I say, oh, this is what I'm working on, this is what I'm doing, and then I come back a week later, okay, I finished it because I can't finish it. I could not finish it with the laptop sitting there because the laptop just takes up that whole corner. And this, like, it's like your view might not be the greatest, but I can get this out of the way. I am gonna wash it to make it puff up. I have to wash it anyway. I'm gonna do it in reverse. A lot of people will come in and trim first and then wash. I'm taking it to the washing machine like as soon as I say goodbye to you guys. I'm taking it to the washing machine and getting it washed up right away because some of these threads that are really, really tiny, they'll just like unfray. And if you've ever seen a piece of yarn, once it unrolls itself to a certain point, it just goes boop and comes off. So some of this stuff will go away by itself. This one here is an applique one the stars are just yellow that I've done the thing with. And this is sewn on, that is sewn on, this is all sewn on to make a picture, right? And once it is washed, it is supposed to be nicely frayed all the way. The moon and this is all supposed to be nicely frayed because that was part of a different project. Jenny might remember. This was part of a different project where I was like, I want to find out what it looks like to use fabric pieces to make something and then finish it with that fluff effect and see what it looks like. This was the first sample piece. And then the idea was to wash it, see how it looks. And yeah, it's a really cool block. And I don't know if you remember, Jenny, the idea was to get it washed, see how it's going to look, and then from there decide what other stuff I want to do with it. And I just never got back to it. So now that it's in here, I get to finish that. I get to finish that test. And see what I'm going to think about using this idea for other types of projects, putting things together. So yeah, I'm very happy. I'm very done. It's already almost 5:30. So anyway, thanks for hanging out with me, guys. Yeah, this one. Okay, like I said, this one should have fluff. like everything should fray, like, like that. Like, I don't know. I'm not close enough to the, everything should fray. Once it's fully frayed, if anything's too long and out of place, I can trim it then. This one should look really cool when it's done. And where's the fox? Nope, that's a thin one. The fox one. This one. This one I used a double thick batting. So once this one is washed, this one should actually puff out a bit more and look really, really puffy. So now some of the blocks that made it into this were kind of experiments with other stuff I was doing, and now I finally get to finish those experiments and decide what I want to do in the future going forward with some of those ideas too. Anyway, yeah, well, thanks for listening. Like I said, bitching about the post office, talking about UFOs, and then sewing tips at the same time. That's kind of how I roll. And I'm up for almost any topic. I just like to hear myself talk some days. Anyway, I really enjoyed hanging out with you guys. Thanks for coming along. While I had the chance to finish a quilt on camera for the first time. Yeah, well, like this is gonna be nice because now that I've got an arm to hold up to film on my tablet, that looks really obvious and distracting when it's on a white shirt. Unless something changes on my end, unless something drastic changes on my end, I should be able to like go from beginning to end on all my quilts. My next quilt is going to be a glow in the dark mushroom quilt. And I don't know if I've got a couple of other things to finish first. And then depending on my timing, I should be back to work on that. Every time I say I'll be back on Thursday or Friday, I never make it back. So have a great week. No promises. If I'm in a position to get back and start the next one in the next few days, I'll probably just turn the camera on because I can now. And I will see you later. And thanks again and bye.